lovelies, it's Kate. Welcome back to another speed build. In this video I'm building a huge mansion on a 64x64 lot in Del Sol Valley. And when I'm saying huge mansion, this isn't really anything new on this channel, but this mansion is truly spectacular. It has 12 bedrooms and it's worth over 1 million simoleons. I thought go big or go home. I feel like if the Sims build mode had a boss, it would be this mansion, at least for me. I've built so many mansions in this game, but this was like such a spectacular experience. It took a while to finish this and to furnish this, and it was just crazy. At some point I had no idea on which floor am I furnishing at the moment. It was just a really fun experience. I hope that you like the result, and as always we are going to talk about what I'm building here, how I'm building it. I'm going to share a couple of fun tricks and tips regarding what I'm doing here, and yeah, let's jump right in. As you just saw, once again I used the tool mod. I always give this little disclaimer. Even though I used the mod to build this, it's still completely unmodded in the gallery. You can just download it, you can add this build to your game, and your Sims can enjoy it if you want to. So you don't need the mod, and it's unmodded in the gallery, and I just love this mod so much. I used it to create this round window facade, and this was the vision that I had in mind for this build. So I had no idea where this build would lead to, as always, or as most of the time, but I knew that I would like to have this round section in the front, and I wanted this to look really luxurious, like a totally over the top mansion, like something that you would see in Beverly Hills or something. The kind of stuff that we've all built after Get Famous came out, just like next level. I really wanted to go all out. And as I said in the beginning of the video, it's worth over 1 million simoleons. And this wasn't my initial vision. I just knew that I would like to build something that's lavish and huge and luxurious. This is also why I picked the 64x64 lot, but I had no idea that I would actually be able to reach the 1 million mark. I've never done this before. I've never built a house that is worth 1 million simoleons, even a little bit more. So at some point I just noticed that I had reached over 800,000 simoleons, and then I thought, okay, just decorate this house a little bit and just add more stuff. I wasn't completely done furnishing either way. I just had to place some things, and then I just reached the 1 million mark. And here I'm building some round trellis. If you want to do this, you can simply place a round piece of foundation. As I always tell you guys, always use the one with a fence already attached to it, because it has the perfect shape, and if you make it one tile smaller on both sides, you can merge it into a perfect circle or a perfect half circle, and the shape isn't wonky or weird. And I like to use this foundation piece to just have some round trellis. So you place it, you can add a fence. I mean, it comes with a fence, but then you can just remove it with the sledgehammer tool, or just replace it with another fence, because to be honest, the default fence isn't the prettiest. It's some really basic base game fence. Of course it depends on the build, but yeah. So I use this very small base game fence, and then I just remove the center, the floor, with the sledgehammer tool, and you can then just add more fence pieces so you can create a fun pattern. And then you can also just place any plant on top, and it looks really beautiful. Of course you can also just have some rectangular or square trellis. You don't have to use this really fancy shape, but you guys know that I just love my round shapes. It's beautiful, and because of the fence that I added in the center, it has this beautiful pattern. It just looks really beautiful and kind of crazy and fun. It's just kind of a bit out of the ordinary. And here I'm using a debug object. Surprise, surprise, there are a lot of debug objects in this build. So I'm not using any CC for any of my builds, so any build that you see on this channel is CC free. So far, maybe one day, I've talked about this before, I might create one specific build with CC, but then I'm going to mark it accordingly. So it's all CC free here, and whenever I'm using something that looks a bit crazy and when you think, hey wait, is this CC? It's not, it's just a debug object, because I just love my debug object and all the environment objects which are also technically debug objects, just a bit cooler and fun. And here, long story short, I used a little fence piece, which is part of the Vampires pack, and you can find it in the debug menu, you can find it in the regular menu, and I just merged two of them together for each window. You just have this little fence in front of the window, and then I placed the Get Famous flowers on top, and it just looks really beautiful. I wanted to create a contrast, so I have this super bright white pastel beige facade, we have this blue roof, and it's all really dreamy and the colors are super soft, but then I wanted to have this contrast, so I used these fence pieces and I just had a bit of contrast, and from that point on I incorporated a couple of more dark colors on the exterior just as some type of contrast here and there, but I still wanted to have this really bright, super happy color scheme and just kind of like a pop of color, just a dark pop of darkness. Not gonna lie, at some point early on I was worried if it just looks like the White House because of the round shape in the front and then the area at the bottom. Just in the super early stages this doesn't look like the White House at all, but at some point I thought, where is this build even leading to? I want this to look like a regular residential lot over the top mansion. I didn't want to replicate the White House or anything, but I don't know, sometimes building is a crazy process and I just like to work in sections. I've talked about this before, but sometimes people ask me how I'm approaching the building process. I never know what I'm really building. I just have a really rough idea. I just start to work on a build and then it just happens. I just develop ideas as I go, and I can totally recommend this. Some people put a lot of pressure on themselves and they think, okay, I just have to have an idea. I have to know what I want to build. Without an idea, I can't build anything, but you don't really need a solid idea or a solid plan. Just have a rough idea maybe. Start building and then it all happens. It all unfolds, and this is the most fun about building. Of course, I know that different builders have different approaches. I think it's really common to finish the whole exterior first. So you just build the walls and the floor, and then you just add the roof, and then you add stuff on the outside. And sometimes I finish a complete section and then I just keep going. I know that this is a bit uncommon, but all I'm saying is you don't really have to build the way others are building. Just develop your own style, your own way of building. Of course, I'm not saying that you have to build this way because I'm totally out of control here. Like, look at this, all these round foundation pieces. At this point, I have no idea what I'm even doing here. So just find your own way of building and just have a bit of fun and let go, and just, you don't have to do it the conventional way. There's no right way, there's no wrong way. Just do it, just do you. Maybe you have noticed the vines on the walls. These are also debug objects, of course, and they are part of Discover University. I stumbled upon them recently and they are just so beautiful. We have different vines, for example, some which came with, I think, Get Together, but these are just so much more beautiful. They look really natural, they look like the real deal. They don't have this super typical Maxis Match comic look, if you know what I mean. They still fit into this aesthetic. I mean, they are original, they came with the game, it's no CC as I said, but I feel like they just look more realistic and almost like CC. They're really beautiful. They come in different shapes. Some of them go around the corner and you can just find the correct place for them. So I did my best to find a good position. Some of them are just a bit higher than the wall or a fence, but I think it's still a good look. I struggled a little bit with finding the correct position because I used so many windows and all these round shapes, and of course you have to find a straight wall for these vines. They don't come in any curved shapes, so I struggled with finding the correct position. I also didn't want to overdo it. I mean, I wanted to place them in different areas of the build, but I didn't want to go totally crazy because otherwise you couldn't even see the windows. The other windows which I used are also part of Discover University. In my opinion, Discover University is the perfect pack if you want to build over the top mansions. I mean, Get Famous is the perfect pack technically because this is exactly the aesthetic Get Famous was going for, but I feel like Discover University has more beautiful windows and they are both perfect. So I would recommend both packs if you are into this kind of aesthetic. I would use both packs Probably if you would only use these 2 packs in the base game, you could create some absolutely amazing, beautiful mansions. I mean, you can also do that with just the base game, but this type of aesthetic, I feel like it's just, these packs are just perfect. Also, in case you haven't seen it, the community stuff pack build and buy vote is now live, and you can vote for different build buy objects, including some lamps and just different things like plants and just all kinds of different things, and the objects are super beautiful. I haven't voted yet because I didn't have the time. I just took a brief look at all these amazing objects and they look so beautiful. And after this video, I'm going to take a couple of minutes to really pick my favorite objects, so make sure that you vote. The overall theme is arts and crafts, and there is stuff for knitting and all that, and there were different votes already for the overall theme, the style of the pack, cast items, and now build by, and we can just vote for all kinds of different things. So it's a community stuff pack, and the pack is going to be exactly the way we vote for it. The last community stuff pack we had was Laundry Day actually, and this is a absolute favorite. I think that it's one of the most popular stuff packs of all time, or maybe even the most popular stuff packs. I don't have numbers to support my claim, but from what I've heard, it's a really popular pack. A lot of people wanted to have laundry, and this time around people were asking for new activities for elders and all that, and now it's arts and crafts, and I think it's wonderful because we can use the new pack to have more activities like knitting for elders, but it's also amazing for younger Sims in the game. It's just amazing. I think it's fun. I'm not really someone who plays a lot, I'm just building, but even just for building, for furnishing, I think it's absolutely amazing. And of course I know that a lot of you people out there are actually playing the game and not just building like crazy, so I think it's a great thing. I really like that we can just participate, that they hear what we want, what we wish for, and I think it's really just really fun to vote for all these different items and stuff and the style, and I can't wait to get my hands on the pack once it's out. I have no idea when it's supposed to come out, and I don't even know if there will be other votes for other stuff in this game, or if this is the last vote. I have completely lost the overview if I'm honest, but I think it's a great thing. And here I just built a pool with some round shapes. Of course there are some round shapes, what else could there be, and I'm going to explain you how I built this. So what I did was I built a room, and then I placed a floor on top, and then I got rid of the room at the bottom. And when you do this, you can just use the arrows to move your floor piece up and down. If you would just build a foundation piece and then you use the arrows, you would just raise the foundation. So you have to do it this way, so you really have a floating piece of floor without any foundation underneath or any room or just anything. And then I just lowered it as far as possible so the floor sits right on top of the pool, and then I just got rid of the floor in the center, so I only had a frame basically, and then I used some round foundation pieces to have these round shapes in the corners, and it looks beautiful. And at first glance you can't really tell that it's just a floor piece hovering above the pool. It looks like a round pool, and it's really fun. There are different ways of creating round pools. You could also use some objects just to frame the outside. I like to use the spotty stony goodness slab for this, for example, but here this is just another method, and it's really easy once you got the hang of it. I think I've made a tutorial about this. Yes, I have. You can check the tutorial playlist down below in the description box, and there you are going to find a tutorial about round pools, and there I'm also explaining how you can build this here. And here I'm finally working on the interior, and this was super crazy. As I said, there are 12 bedrooms in total. Furnishing this took a little while, and at some point I had no idea how many bedrooms there are. When I was done, I had to count them. I had no idea how many bedrooms I have furnished. I was just furnishing one after another, and I just built the floor plan at some point and I had no overview, and it's crazy how big this mansion truly is, because I'm notorious for sometimes using a lot of this space for landscaping or a part of the terrain sits underneath the house and it looks way bigger than it is, but here it looks big and it is big. 12 bedrooms is crazy. 1 million simoleons is crazy. At least for me, I've never built anything like this before, and this says something because, as I said, or as you guys know, I really like to build these huge mansions. So while the exterior is super rustic and luxurious and all that, the interior is more on the modern side with a couple of exceptions. The indoor pool, as you will see, looks a lot like the exterior, but here, I don't know, I just like to furnish in a more modern style, and here just happened. Just as for the exterior, I develop ideas as I go, and I just picked this area of the house next to the hallway, next to the entrance area, and I just started to work on this, and I decided to go for these brown colors for the kitchen. At first, as you saw, I decided to have some dark brown kitchen counters, which almost had the same color as the walls, but then I decided to go for this white swatch. I have this island counter in the center, and I decided to have a half wall, and I used some regular counters on the half wall so the Sims can just use it to prepare some food. And then on the outside there are a couple of more island counters, so I was able to place a couple of bar stools over there, and your Sims can just hang out, sit there and eat. What I like about this is while your Sims are preparing food in the kitchen, other Sims can just hang out, they can just have a chat and sit there, and they don't always have to sit at the dining table. For the dining area, I combined two big dining tables. I mean, this is a luxurious over-the-top mansion. Your Sims might have a couple of guests over, so I figured it would be amazing to have this huge dining table. I've said this before, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is my guilty pleasure, and for any one of you who are watching or have watched the show, maybe you remember Yolanda's house where she had this huge dining table. It was super wide actually. At the head of the table there were two chairs next to each other, and it was such a huge dining table, and the whole house was just golds, especially the iconic fridge. Like, the fridge looked like a regular cupboard and it had a glass door, but it was a fully functional fridge, and on the inside there were like huge baskets of fruit, and I don't know, it looked like, it didn't even look real, like something out of a movie. It was just too perfect. It was completely over the top, and this is what I like about this show. Sometimes it's just really inspiring, and you can just shake your head at some of the craziness, and of course all the drama. Let's not forget the drama. It's such a fun show. I've never watched any of the other Real Housewife franchises, only Beverly Hills, but yeah, it's just my guilty pleasure, and if you are into this type of inspiration and a little bit of drama, I can totally recommend this show. So this is the second dining room. Yes, I built a second dining room. It's really typical to have multiple living rooms, like a formal living room and just a family room where you can watch TV. But here I decided to have two dining areas next to each other. So there is the big one, the long table, and then a smaller one, like some type of breakfast area. I mean, in huge mansions, you sometimes have these separate breakfast areas or something, and this is what I went for. This is the office. So I decided to add a bit of clutter here and there. I used this beautiful base game painting which leans on the wall. It's just so beautiful, and this room looks a bit more modern and airy than the other rooms. I mean, as I said, the other rooms are also kind of modern, but here, with all the bright wood and all that, it looks a bit more airy and more like IKEA. I mean, not really, but I guess you know what I mean. It's just a bit different when you look at the kitchen and the dining room. It's just a bit more casual, kind of, and I like how it turned out. And this is one of the bathrooms. There are many bathrooms, to be honest. At this point, I don't even know how many. I have to count them. And I also have to say that I didn't include all the bedrooms and bathrooms in this video because it would have probably been, I don't know, 1 hour long, and this, I didn't want that. So there are only a couple of bathrooms in this video, or maybe only this one, and I was going for this spa luxurious look. It's super monochrome. I used a lot of white, gray and black, and I just wanted to have this over the top bathroom. This bathtub came with spa day. I think it's worth over 12k simoleons. It's truly luxurious, and I built this shower, I just used a wall and then some columns, and these windows, both the columns and the windows are part of Spa Day, and then I just placed the Discover University shower head on the wall, so it's like a walk-in shower, and I just wanted this to look really modern and luxurious. And this here is the living room area. It's located in the center of the house, right behind the hallway and the entrance area. As always, or as most of the time, I built a open floor plan, and I used these Discover University sofas and armchairs to create this corner sofa, and I decided to place them diagonally, so the shape is a bit uncommon, but I wanted to have something that's a bit different, so I just placed them this way, and I was also able to fill the whole area this way because there was a lot of space and the wall was just perfect to place a TV, and yeah, I just filled the space this way. And this is the indoor pool. So the indoor pool was a lot of fun. I removed the ceiling, and this is something that I haven't done often, and I just realized that I should do this more often because it's a lot of fun. So it's a 2-story high indoor pool, and it looks much more like the exterior. It's really luxurious and rustic. I used this watercolor which has some petals. I used these huge curtains which are part of Get Famous, and it's just really over the top, like something in a palace or something, and I just figured it would be perfect for a overly luxurious home. So it's worth over 1 million simoleons, and I didn't want this build to be all about the bathrooms and the bedrooms and just the space itself. I really wanted to include something that's truly luxurious, and this indoor pool is totally over the top luxurious, and you can also access it from the back. At the very bottom there is a door, and there you can just access this area from the outside. If you have a swim on the outside and then you decide, oh, the weather is bad, let's move on to the inside and have a pool party over there. So I made sure that it's all connected, and of course I also included some screenshots, as you will see, so you can just see what's going on there. And here I'm working on some of the bedrooms. As I said, I didn't include all of them, but this here, for example, is a kid's room. It's really colorful. I decided to put a lot of love into the walls, so it looks really happy and unique. Just a beautiful bedroom for any kid. Just imagine growing up in a mansion like this, in a place like this. It's crazy. Especially the staircase is absolutely over the top. You can see this in the screenshots in the end. You can't really tell when you just look from the top while building, but then when I moved into the house in the cinematic camera mode, when I just looked up, I just noticed how crazy and over the top the whole staircase looks. It's just absolutely crazy, and this is exactly what I was going for. And this is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, you can find this build in the gallery, and you can find all the information in the description box down below. I hope that you have a perfect day, and I hope I see you in the next video. Bye bye!